Howdy and welcome, guys. This is episode, who knows what episode it is right now. Yeah, don't know what episode this is. All I know is that we're gonna try to turn this thing over for the first time. Who knows if it'll start, but we're gonna give it a shot. I don't think anything will leak. I don't think it'll start right away. That's my prediction.
Oh my God! No!
Well, that was eventful.
There's light.
Nothing is leaking. Alright, guys, it started for like 2 seconds. We're going for round 2.
A lot of airy sound
It's
before.
very hot. Very hot.
What is
the solenoid for this.
Nothing should be hot yet.
Alright guys, so it's nighttime. I've been working all day on getting this car to run properly. There was some problems with sensors not being in the ECU software correctly. Like I gave the technician from Haltech the wrong sensors. So that was screwing up a lot of stuff. We've got the car basically running beautifully at this point. I really am pretty stoked at how well it's running, but we have one problem, and I will try to show you right now. Starts right up, and if we come to the back, you should be able to hear it. So you can see that it runs and it idles just fine. However, we have a sort of, I don't know if it's a misfire, a backfire, whatever you want to call it. We have a problem with something in the exhaust, too much fuel, something's not burning off, something is a problem. So what I obviously did first was change the spark plugs as was recommended to me by Haltech. That changed the problem for like a split second, and then it went back to how it was. So I don't think that that was the problem. So next up on the list is to change the TDC angle, or the trigger angle for the car. So essentially, I went out and bought a timing light, and we're gonna see, well, essentially what it is the ECU needs to know when the engine is at top dead center. And the only way for it to know that is if we take the timing light and we kind of go through the process. Guys, it is about 3 or 4 days later. I have tried everything in the book to get this thing to stop misfiring. And I actually found out that we're not just running on 5 cylinders, we're running on 4. So cylinders 5 and 6 are not firing, and it was a massive problem. And I took apart the entire intake side of the engine to figure it out, and nothing was fixing it. I cleaned the fuel injectors, everything. There wasn't one thing that I didn't go through checking. But then I figured out what the problem was. Some guy on one of the forums said, oh, what if your coil pack wires are mixed up? So you can see we have our individual coils here. And on the Wiring Specialties harness, if I can find one, they label their coil pack wires. So this one's to 3, this one's to 2, and etc. So I had them all in the correct order, and I'm thinking, well, what could the problem be? So I ended up just switching the wires going to 5 and 6. So if you can see, we've got wire number 6 going to cylinder 5 and 5 going to 6. And I started it up and the issue is gone. I am super happy that we figured it out. However, I am not happy that the wiring harness that I paid so much money for, they couldn't bother to put the right labels on the wires. So that screwed me over for a pretty long time and caused a lot of problems for this engine. But I'm going to start it up now so you guys can hear what it sounds like. I'm super excited, and there's going to be a squeaking noise. I don't have the intake manifold tightened down all the way, so don't mind that. But listen to this. you just heard it run. I think it sounds pretty darn good, if I do say so myself. Obviously, the turbo isn't really hooked up to the intake manifold. The boost that the turbo was making really escapes because there are no clamps or anything, and this is all very janky, or jankily put together, I should say. So don't mind that. It's going to sound a lot better in the future when everything is ready to rock and roll on the dyno. And that's my next point. I'm heading off to school, so this is going to be a stopping point for a good while on the car. In the next episode, which should be sometime in November or early December, I'm hoping, essentially, we're just going to get this car ready for the dyno. So we're actually going to install the intercooler, and we're going to make it look all pretty and how I want it to be, and I want it to be presentable. So that is the next few things that we're going to be doing with the car. Other than that, don't mind that whining sound that you heard with the engine or the high-pitched squeal. The whining sound was the power steering pump because none of that is really hooked up, and the high-pitched kind of squealing sound is just because the intake manifold isn't tightened down onto the lower intake manifold. So that was that. But thank you guys for sticking around. This is a monumental moment for me to hear the engine run the right way for the first time, and thank you for being there throughout this whole journey and suggesting things along the way and all that good stuff. So really, I appreciate your viewing of these videos, and feel free to message me anytime if you have questions of your own build, and I will try to help you out. But anyway, have a good one, guys, and I will see you in November or December.